What made the high school legend become a legend? Our calculus teacher had this policy where if you forgot your calculator, you could rent his for $5 per class. He kept them locked in a cabinet and made a huge deal about how expensive they were and how he was doing us a favor by even offering them. This went on for months. Kids would forget their calculators and have to choose between failing the assignment or paying up. Some students paid him multiple times a week. He would write their names in a little notebook and collect cash right there in front of everyone. Then one day, Jake forgot his during a major test worth 30% of our grade. He asked to rent one and the teacher smirked and said, "Cash only, no exceptions. You know the rules." Jake did not have any money on him. He asked if he could pay tomorrow or have his mom send it through the school payment system. The teacher said no. He made Jake sit there for the entire test period with a blank paper while the rest of us worked. Jake failed the test. His grade dropped from an A to a C overnight. Jake was furious, but he did not yell or make a scene. He just sat there quietly taking notes on his phone. That should have been the teacher's first warning. The next week, Jake showed up to class with a massive duffel bag. He walked straight to the teacher's desk before the bell rang and dumped out 47 calculators, all identical to the ones the teacher rented out. They clattered across the desk and some fell onto the floor. "I bought these online," Jake announced loudly so the whole class could hear. $8 each. "Anyone who needs one can borrow mine for free. No charge, ever." The teacher's face went bright red. He said Jake was disrupting class and being disrespectful and needed to leave immediately. Jake did not move. Instead, he pulled out his phone and held it up. "Your calculators cost $12 retail," Jake said, showing the Amazon listing. "You have been charging students $5 per use. I did the math. Some kids have paid you over $60 this semester alone. That is more than 5 times what the calculator actually costs." The teacher tried to grab Jake's phone, but Jake stepped back. Then Jake pulled out a stack of printed papers from his bag. The first page was the school policy handbook. He had highlighted a section in yellow. Page 23, Jake read aloud. "Teachers cannot charge students for required materials. Calculators are listed as required for calculus." The teacher's voice got shaky. He said the calculators were optional, not required. Jake smiled and pulled out another paper. It was a copy of the test from last week, the one Jake had failed. "Question 4, Jake said, pointing to the page. "Calculate the derivative using your graphing calculator." It specifically says using your graphing calculator. It specifically says using your graphing calculator. That makes it required. By now, the entire class was dead silent. Everyone was staring. Jake was not done. He had receipts showing every time someone rented a calculator going back 4 months. He had gotten kids to send him Venmo screenshots and text confirmations. He had documented everything. The teacher tried to shut him down, but another student raised her hand. She said she had paid the teacher $45 total this year. Then another kid spoke up. He had paid $70. Then another. The whole class started talking. Jake pulled out one more paper. It was an email he had already sent to the principal, the superintendent, and the school board, timestamped from 6 that morning. He had copied everyone. The teacher went pale. He told Jake to sit down and stop causing drama. Jake picked up his bag of calculators and walked to a seat. He handed one to every single student in the class. When he got to the teacher's desk, he set one down in front of him. "Keep it," Jake said. "Consider it a gift." By lunch, the principal was in that classroom. By the end of the day, the teacher was on administrative leave. The district launched a full investigation. Turns out he had been running this scheme for 3 years across multiple classes. They calculated he had collected over $8,000 from students. Money that was never reported, never taxed, just straight into his pocket. The school refunded every student who had paid. Over $2,000 total just from our class alone. The teacher was quietly let go at the end of the semester. No one saw him again. Jake graduated that spring with the calculator bag. At the ceremony, when they called his name, he stood up and held one calculator above his head. Then something incredible happened. The entire senior class stood up. Everyone pulled out the calculators Jake had given them. 47 calculators in the air, all at once. The principal smiled. Even some of the teachers clapped. Jake had become a legend for standing up when no one else would.